Hi, Una. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about simple quadratic equations. So far, we've been working with linear equations, and we defined earlier a linear equation as basically something that has highest power of just 1. So, for example, x plus 3 equals 8. That's a linear equation, okay? In other words, when you graph it graphs a straight line. What we're looking at today is going to be quadratic equations. So basically, sometimes the variable or the pronumeral can be squared. So for example, if you've got something that looks like this, x squared is 16, then you have to remember that there will be two solutions. Because remember, just like if you remember from last year in Pythagoras' theorem, anything that is squared, if you want to get from x squared to x, you have to take the plus or minus square root, okay? So it's kind of important that you remember that plus or minus. That's really important. And there can be two solutions, 4 and minus 4. So that's kind of really important. Let's have a look at some examples together. So just to start off with, we're going to kind of select some of these examples down here to do. Quadratic equations always have a highest power of 2. Okay, so it's really important for you to remember that if you've got a quadratic equation, it will have a highest power of 2. And that's probably worth writing down. So if you see anything else, like if you saw this, maybe r cubed is 25. That's not a quadratic because it has a little 3 there. So it's got to have a highest power of 2 only. So that's important. All right, let's have a look at this first question here. So you can see that there's a 2 there, which means it's a quadratic. Okay. So if we've got r squared equals 25 and I want to just get to from r squared to r, I need to take the plus or minus the square root of 25. Now I'm looking for two numbers that times together that are the same, that give me 25, and that's 5. Or you could just type it into your calculator. Okay, so there's my values. If I want to check my answer, I can. Because I can basically say that, well, if I'm saying r is 5, it could be 5 squared, which is 25. Or it could be minus 5 squared, which is 25. Because I remember when I times two negatives together, I do negative 5 times negative 5. Oh, sorry. I didn't know what I was doing there. If I do negative 5 times negative 5, then I'm going to actually get positive 25. So that's a way to check your answer. Let's have a look at question B. This time I've got 6t squared equals 54. Now we need to get t squared by itself first. So this is 6 times t squared. The t squared's being times by 6. So what do I have to do to get rid of it? Well, I have to divide both sides by the 6. Okay, so now that I've done that, these 6's cancel out. And I've got left t squared equals 6 times what gives me 54? 6 times 9 gives me 54. To get from t squared to t, I need to take the positive and negative square root of 9, which then tells me that t will have to equal plus or minus 3. Okay, so that's kind of really important there that you, right, don't forget the plus or minus, and also don't forget that you need to show clear working out. What about this one? This one looks a little bit different because we've got 2x squared minus 8 equals 0. Okay, I might do that one over here just so I have a bit more space. So 2x squared minus 8 equals 0. The first step is to get rid of this 8, okay, because this 8's a bit of a problem for me. So I'm going to plus that to both sides, and I get 2x squared equals to 8. My next step, I'm going to then divide both sides by 2. So I just want x squared by itself first. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I'm left with x squared equals to 4. To get from x squared to x, I need to take the positive or negative square root of 4. And therefore my value of x will be plus or minus 2. 2 answers, because I've got to account for the positive and negative. Okay. Alright, so basically when you're solving quadratic equations, and these are just simple ones, it's really important that you remember to, if there's any numbers, get them over to the other side, divide by whatever's next to the pronumeral squared, and then take the positive and negative square root of both sides. I want you to have a go at question D yourself. It's a little bit tricky. Write down a summary of what you learned, higher order thinking question, and any other questions you had. Okay, so we've learned about simple quadratic equations today. So please print out your worksheet and bring it to class. See you then.